Let's talk about our favorite characters in over 50 years of playing Dungeons & Dragons today on RPGs Beyond the Roll. I'm Brian.
I'm Derica.
And we've played a lot of characters in D&D. I mean, a lot.
We have. It's actually really hard for me to pick my top three because I have this weird thing of
they're all special.
I hate to be sappy, but falling in love with my characters.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
They become their own little creatures, and I'm rooting for them all the way, regardless of what happens. And so picking one or three in this case.
We said three. We're gonna go three.
It's hard.
I also want to put another little spin on this. We both played in a Neverwinter Nights online, several actually, Persistent Worlds, which is Dungeons & Dragons, but it's different because it's not party-based so much as it's an individual-based, but you're intended to work together. A lot of things you have to do together. Kind of like World of Warcraft, but in D&D. It was D&D 3.5, I believe the version was. Haven't done it in a long time. But one of my characters is from that. I think at least one of yours is too.
Yeah.
I don't really remember. So ladies first. You get to go first. We're not doing these in any particular order. This is just pick your first one.
Well, I'm going to save my very favorite, my special little
star. Then I'll save mine too.
For the very end. But I'm going to start off with the OG, my very first character I ever played.
I think I know who this is.
And she has made multiple recreation new appearances throughout the years. And that is Sinedra. Sinedra was my first character playing D&D.
What version? It's like first edition, right?
First edition.
Yeah.
It was a D&D.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Advanced D&D.
I think that's second edition now. I don't know.
I don't know.
For 1.5 or something.
And nobody told me that you shouldn't start off as a wizard as your first character. So that's what I did. Sinedra was an elf. I think she was full-blood elf wizard. And by the time I was done with her...
Well, wait a minute. Wasn't elf a class back then?
Elf a class?
Yeah. Elf was a class.
You know,
if you were elf, you were automatically a wizard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe,
then it wasn't first edition. It was definitely second.
Maybe that's why... I don't know.
Yeah. In ye olden D&D, you could play a thief. You could play an elf. You could play a fighter. And you could play a wizard. An elf was almost automatically a wizard. A dwarf was a class too. It was really weird. I could be wrong. I'm going back a long time, but I didn't play back then. So
it was a long time ago. Regardless, she was a bit of a badass, and she became basically a magic missile machine gun. Mm-hmm. And I remember one campaign that I played with her. She got to the top of a roof of this small village.
Yep. That was when you revived her for Neil's campaign.
We were being surrounded by undeads. There were just hordes of undead. And she was just standing on the roof, picking them off.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty obnoxious. She was kind of aloof. She was a high elf, I believe. So she, tolerated the lesser races. But
she did not like my half-orc barbarian in that campaign.
She knew she was, better than the rest. And that was probably partially because she was an elf and partially because she was a wizard. And they
wasn't she royalty too? That was in a previous life, though.
That she actually gained that title in a campaign where we saved the town of Ferundi. And so she became
Lady Sinedra of Ferundi. That's right.
Of Ferundi.
That's what I remember seeing on your character sheet.
Yep. So she actually earned that legitimately in gameplay. So go her. She had a Quasit familiar. She was very, very interesting character. And she befriended an evil cleric who liked to collect ears of the fallen.
Lovely.
Yep. So that was Deborah's character.
Oh, that was Deborah's character, of course. It all makes sense now.
Yeah. And I remember little things like that more than what her actual build was. What was her stats? I don't know. Obviously, high intelligence. I think probably a 10 in charisma, I would imagine. At least I certainly played her where she wasn't.
Are you sure it was even that high?
she might have been a negative in charisma. She was just fun, and it was fun using her both as a player character and a non-player character, because I would repurpose her in some of the campaigns that I wrote myself.
Oh, that's cool.
Based on her history as a player character, I utilized that as a non-player character, and that was fun for me as a DM to bring her back out.
So the first that I'm going to talk about is Killian J. O'Connell. He was male, human, and the iteration that I'm going to talk about, because I actually played him online and then I remade him for a pen and paper campaign. He wasn't the same. A very different character this time around, but I like the second version better. He was a bard, swords bard, and swashbuckler rogue. Now, I didn't get to play him for real long, maybe only like 6 or 8 months, because I'm weird, and every once in a while I feel like my character isn't fitting into the campaign, and sometimes I need to change characters. And the aforementioned Deborah got really mad at me when I changed his character out, because her character had grown very fond of him. But Killian was kind of like the not the stereotypical like charming everybody and trying to get in everybody's pants kind of bard. He wasn't like that at all. But he had like a certain aristocratic class to him, even though he was a peasant. He grew up with nothing. One of his greatest moments was he had earned all this gold, and he gave it to his parents to help them out. But he learned from a guy who was like worse than him, like a real, gonna basically do con jobs on women and get them to give him gold and gems and, stuff like that. So he learned from him. So the bardic thing, he liked to perform, but it was really more of performance art. If you think about it that way, he was acting. He was a con man, is essentially what he was. And I did the swashbuckler thing because he was a dual wielder. He used 2 short swords. And that was how he fought. Really, really cool character. Got to have a lot of fun with him. He had a very fancy hat that Deborah's character gave him. That was just a really nice hat with a very long red feather. And it was just,
think of like Three Musketeers kind of thing.
Very much Three Musketeers kind of deal. He even had like that kind of machismo to him and bravado. And he acted like it too.
Yeah.
There was a couple of fights that he did some crazy things.
You might be able to tell by Brian's naming convention that he was taking a couple of different inspirations from film.
Yeah, O'Connell.
One being Three Musketeers, and the second being
from The Mummy.
From The Mummy.
Yeah. O'Connell's character from The Mummy. Yeah, a little bit of Indiana Jones mixed in, but still higher class. Definitely cleaner, more flamboyant in dress than either of those two, but not a dandy exactly. He was just well-dressed and knew how to be well-dressed and knew how to be in higher society, because his nickname was the Gentleman Scoundrel. So he had a way of blending into higher society really, really well, even though he was definitely not. And he knew where he was really from. And he was able to just go back and forth between those two worlds and charm the pants off of people, basically. Yeah. It was just really cool. I remember there was a couple incidents in the game that we played where he just talked and got things that we did not think was ever going to happen.
Yep. Sometimes the rolls are in your favor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had decent numbers. I don't remember his stats or anything, but the rolls were definitely in his favor a couple of times. Very, very cool. And I like the bard sword play kind of character, because like my 1B would have been another character that I made that was similar, and Killian was kind of like the male version of her, and that is Vicky.
Yeah.
Who was probably my favorite character playing online of all time. So I'm not going to get too far into it because there's so much to it. I'm not going to go into it. And I'm actually playing a version of her now, and I don't want to give things away if anybody's watching it plays in the campaign. Just say it. So that would be Killian. I ended up not playing him anymore, but I did revive him, not in that name, because Deborah was going to be in the campaign, and so was Derica. When I DM'd, I made a new version of him with a different name, same guy, same almost everything, different name. And that was like him. I don't even remember what the second name was, but I think I played him more than I played Killian.
Was it Jillian or
no? It was. I don't remember. It's been a while, but yeah, we played him for almost 2 years as an NPC.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my first. On to you, number 2.
All right. So we keep referencing this mythical person named Deborah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I should give a little background about her. I started playing D&D in high school.
So like 5-6 years ago.
It might have even been junior high. I don't know.
7 or 8 years ago.
And Deborah was actually part of that original group. And it is really cool that over the years, you know, we lost touch, we moved, we had families, we did our own thing. And then
we still keep in touch. It was
10
more than that.
Yeah.
More than 10 years ago. About 15 years ago.
We found ourselves living basically in the same city. And so we you know, started hanging out again, and we're right back to playing D&D again. And that's super cool. It's fun, the people that you get to play with in the role-playing spectrum, and how some of those friendships really can last regardless of where they are in the world.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to meet face-to-face to have a meaningful friendship.
Our D&D groups include England, Michigan, parts of Florida,
Virginia.
We had Canada for a little while, and we also had Alaska,
Texas.
and now Texas, and he's now in Nevada. So all over the place.
All right. So next up on my list is going to be Nil. Nil was
my campaign.
Was a concept that I actually, the name started on a persistent world, where she was just a rough and tough rumble, doing the dirty deeds done dirt cheap kind of scenario. And she ended up hooking up with this wannabe organization that she saw pretty quickly was very much a wannabe organization, but she was along for the ride. She didn't care. So then when it came time to make another character for a pen and paper campaign, I took that character basis and then I pushed it a little farther because I wanted more personality. I wanted somebody that was kind of insecure and self-doubting, but still had a little bit of hidden bravado that they'd like to push occasionally. And the inspiration of making that switch for me actually came from the television series, I believe it was a Netflix television series, Blood and Bone or Shadow and Bone?
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone. The gunslinger.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forget his name. I forget the character name. It's okay.
Oh, he's my favorite. Like
the guy that wears a bowler, kind of a little fancy.
No, Jax was...
It is Jax.
Is it Jax?
I think it's Jax.
I don't know. We will put the name here on the screen so you know. Because
so somebody has to look it up.
I'll look it up. I just can't look it up right now.
Tag, you're it.
Anyway, I adore him. He's super cool. He had lots of style, but he still had that self-doubt and insecurity and something to prove, but more something to prove to himself rather than to other people. And it's a really interesting dichotomy that I actually recognize in myself, where I don't particularly, as a person, feel like I have to prove myself to other people, but I still like the recognition. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I utilize that through...
It's nice to hear. You just don't have to hear it.
Right. So that's what I did with Nil. She became a lot more androgynous. She really didn't have a physique that screamed male nor female. She had a secret friend that most people didn't know about, and that was a pet rat. It never came to fruition, but her pet rat...
A couple of people in the party figured it out, but that was about it.
Her pet rat was actually a fae creature because it had been her companion since she was little, and she never really questioned why this rat never died. It was just a thing that me and the DM said was okay because it wasn't going to give me any special...
Yeah, we talked about that a lot.
It wasn't going to give me any special abilities.
You weren't getting anything special from it.
It was just an RP thing.
You played that character for almost 2 years. Did you know that? That campaign went a long time.
And so...
And ended in a bloodbath.
Nil's rat, she was very protective of, and even though she was actively trying to secretly train this rat, whose name was Zilch, she never put him in harm's way because she couldn't do that.
Right. She was a ranger rogue, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, she was a
dagger thrower.
Yeah, she was all about her daggers, and she was a scout.
Rogue Scout. Yep, I think so. And she was a hunter ranger.
Yeah. So she was all about tracking and trying to. She's really good at sneaking, which actually created some interesting role play in the campaign that she was playing with, because one of the people that she ended up in this group with was a female fighter, full plate, kind of tromping, making lots of noise. Nil was very much not the take charge person, but she knew that when you're working in a group scenario, you're only as strong as the weakest of your group. So if somebody has a strength, use that strength. If somebody has a weakness, try to mitigate that weakness.
She wasn't a leader, but she was many times the first to act.
Right.
Which is different.
So she was trying to figure out what was going on. There was some rustling in the bushes. And so she basically gestured. I don't think she verbally told people.
I think she verbally told them.
I don't remember.
Very quietly.
I don't remember. But it was basically, you guys stay here. I'm going to go figure out what's going on. Then I'll report back. And so she's halfway out in the mist. Nobody knows even where she is because she's that good of a sneak. And here comes the fighter, trumpet around. Boom, boom, boom. So, with their lack of social skills, decided the best way to shut the fighter up was to bing them in the head with a ball bearing.
Ball bearing.
The
1,000 ball bearings that rogues get?
Yeah.
Yep. She had 999 after that.
They were utilized on a party member.
Fantastic. That was just awesome.
And so there's lots of questions when I'm playing a character that has morally ambiguous nature, that they will, quote unquote, attack a party member, not to cause damage, but normally it's a form of communication.
Yeah, we normally don't allow player versus player combat, like within party, but stuff like that, that makes sense.
There was another time where sometimes when the rolls don't go in your favor, it's a beautiful moment. And surprisingly enough, it was the same two characters, Nil and this fighter.
The stairway.
They were going down a stairwell and Nil was going first to check and make sure it wasn't trapped. And the fighter, because they had become really good friends at this time, was second just to make sure if Nil needed backup that they were there. Well, there was a dexterity check. Nil made it no problem. The fighter, however, did not, and tumbled down the stairs. But because Nil was underneath on the stairwell, they both tumbled all the way to the bottom, and it was absolutely hysterical.
That was a very proud DMing moment for me. I have to admit,
it was a complete and utter fail, but it was that was awesome. It was fantastic.
So that's Nil. Let's see, my second. I have so many, but I'm going to go with Ariana. She was an Aasimar Hexblade Paladin Sorcerer. I think she ended up at level 13 by the time we stopped that campaign. Everybody likes to think that Paladins are all goody two-shoes, this, that, the other thing. Well, Ariana looked like she was. She had the white outfit, she had the glistening full-plate armor, and she certainly looked the part with her blonde hair and the golden eyes. But she had a little bit of a vengeful side to her. She was a paladin, Oath of Vengeance paladin. And being Hexblade made it even more interesting. I don't remember the exact story on how it happened that way, but I think, was she sickly or someone in her family was sickly in the backstory? I forget exactly how it became. Yeah. But she ended up becoming the almost leader of our little group of 3, but not really the leader, more they would clear things with her before they did them simply because they were afraid of her, sort of. But she was like everybody's little sister that was not afraid to step up and do things. And in combat, she was absolutely brutal. She did not hold back in any way. The campaign actually went to hell. And while in hell, she was glorious. Let's just say it was pretty awesome watching her in action. But the interaction with her and our 2 friends that were in England, the other one of them was playing a Hexblade as well, a different kind of Hexblade. And he was a Hex Paladin too.
Yes.
Just different level setups.
Which was hysterical because he was actually a tiefling
who
was very good and
so
lawful.
The dichotomy of the two was really awesome.
Yeah.
And then we had Keo, Adam's fighter. He was a Goliath fighter with, I forget what weapon. But anyway, the 3 of them actually ended up becoming really close, like very, very good. But I remember in the very beginning, Ariana did not like Paul's tiefling.
Yep.
At all. She did not trust him, did not know. She was like rude to him to the point that out of character, I had to apologize to Paul a million times. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, but this is a thing. Like this is a thing. There's just no way an Aasimar and a tiefling are going to get along instantly. They worked into it though. And they actually ended up becoming very close and trusting each other. But Ariana and Keo actually became like literally like brother and sister by the time this was over, where she would be like, I don't need protection. She had like a 24 armor class plus shield. So she could hit like 29 or something stupid high armor class. She was virtually untouchable by the time we were done. But she was a lot of fun because she was not your stereotypical paladin. She had an edge to her. She had a rough side. She had a bad side to where she was doing the right thing, but not always the way you would expect her to do the right thing. In other words, the outcome was a good outcome. She was still good aligned. She was chaotic good, but she did it in a way that she thought was the right way to do it, which would not necessarily be the generally accepted way to do things. I'm trying to think of an exact storyline that she did something that was just weird, and I can't think of it, other than we were in the bar one time and she was kind of giving off a flirty vibe, but not exactly. And they ended up getting attacked in that bar, if I remember correctly. And I think she like decapitated a guy and threw the head at one of his buddies or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was just like insane. Just all of a sudden, and she went from this flirty little cute thing to, I'm going to take your head off and throw it across the room. So that was Ariana. She was fun.
Pirate bandits can do that to a person sometimes.
That's what it was. Yeah. Pirate bandits. Yep. Yeah. So that's Ariana. I miss Ariana. I have actually made versions of her build, but I always feel guilty trying to play them because I know I'll try playing them just like Ariana, and I can't do it. I don't like to recreate. I like to recreate characters, but I don't like to because I always screw it up and they always end up being less than I wanted them to be.
He's learning. Even now, he's still learning.
And who is your third? You said you were keeping your favorite, your
favorite train wreck.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Kildara. And it's interesting now that I've listed these three. I have played male characters, female characters. I've played, can I please play a kinder characters to the full range of.
I've played a lot of halflings.
Everything. Good, bad, ugly, in between.
A lot of elves.
But the three that I've picked are all elves. I just realized that.
Of course.
Kildara was a moon elf. Mm-hmm. And I did the bad thing that Brian did where I tried to make multiple versions of her.
She was from when we played online.
Yeah, she's an online character.
Totally different personality when you did her in pen and paper, though.
Yep. But
wait a minute. Totally different personality when you switch to a different world.
Yep.
It's a different online world.
Yep.
This is an online character. You never played this in pen and paper with me anyway.
Yeah, I made a Kildara on pen and paper when you were DMing. She was the helper for Paul and Adam when Adam first started playing.
Oh, okay. I think I remember that. The very first, like the Thieves campaign.
She was much more sidelined than Kildara actually is. So the original Kildara, the one that I'm talking about, my favorite train wreck, and that phrase has been used so many times and it's very appropriate. She
what classes was she?
She was this was a really weird build and it worked
I remember helping you
in the version that we made it in, but I don't think it's possible. It's not a thing.
In pen and paper it would be impossible, especially in 5th edition.
She was a bard, assassin, the magic archer thing.
Arcane Archer. Yeah, this is 3.5 edition in Neverwinter Nights online. So it was actually a really cool
She's a bard,
build
assassin,
concept back then.
Arcane Archer. So she was a glass cannon for sure. You can sneeze at her and she's probably going to fall down dead. But if she gets any shot off, she's going to kill all the things. And if she gets the first shot off, she's definitely going to kill all the things.
But she was usually backed up by my character, Vicky, who stood in front of her, who would make sure nothing got to her.
Well, yeah.
Usually.
Killy made lots of friends, so she...
Oh, well, wait a minute. This version, no, it wasn't that at all.
It wasn't.
Never mind.
No, that was...
Never mind. I take it all back. Yeah. Retcon.
So Kildara was pure evil. Like, she was so evil when she finally allowed other people to realize that she was evil with other evil people. They were just like, what is wrong with you? Kind of evil. But she liked to call everybody darling. She was very much that kind of bard persona. She liked to call herself I'm Kildara, the mistress of the stage. She was all very flamboyant, showy outfits, lots of skin, use what the gods gave you kind of thing. She would seduce people if she could. She would notoriously, I put all of her points into charisma-based stuff, and I would roll shit like every single time. It's like, I have a plus 20 to whatever, and I'd roll.
I'm going through that right now with my character.
And I just went with it. It was hysterical.
You played her for like 5 years. Long time.
She, I think, joined unofficially nearly every faction on that server.
Yep.
Good, bad, ugly. She didn't care. It was just a way for her to be entertained. Life was boring. She was long-lived, and she just wanted to be entertained. She really liked the halflings. They amused her, so she would adore them and protect them and do all this stuff. So I'm pretty sure they were sold that she was a good person.
Yep, they were convinced.
She was not.
But she never did anything to them.
Right. Because
so evil's perspective from that point of view.
It didn't suit her. And it was funny because Brian would always question Kildara's alignment. He's like, she's not evil. And I'm like, oh yeah? Watch this.
I never saw a lot of activities though that said she was evil. There was occasions.
But I remember at the very end of us playing on that server when she hooked up with the
the Black Bard, whatever his name was.
No, not him.
Oh.
The dude that was trapped in the gem for so long and they finally released him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about. I forget his name. But anyway.
Because they were Mascarans and she was a Mascaran. Yeah. So when she finally hooked up with that group, he actually in character told Kildara that she was all sorts of wrong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was a proud moment for me that one of the superpower entities was just like, whoa, you're messed up. I was like, ha.
Well, superpower entities from 8 years before.
Sure. Yeah. It was a thing.
Things changed.
It was a thing. It made me happy. It's the little things. But Killy died and then came back, and of course the death was kind of her own creation.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Well, not you. That got role played out for a while though.
Oh yeah. She was a drama llama, but fun nonetheless.
And then we have mine. Her nickname, the name everybody knew her by, was Roach, because her name was Roacho. But if you say it, it was just a thing. And some people suck when they role play, just so you're aware. They were like, oh, I could pronounce that. And they just would, say it. Where it wasn't supposed to be easy to say. No. That was the whole point. But she was abused by Drow. We say Drow. Some people say Drow. She was abused by Drow. She was a Genasi, an heir Genasi, as a matter of fact. So she was of elven lineage, but Genasi. So she was kind of unique. And basically, I kind of patterned her off of River from Firefly, where she was like being made into a weapon kind of thing, everything like that. And it made her go crazy. So a funny story is at level 1, brand new character, she walked into the town of halflings that Kildara was talking about a little bit ago and took off all of her clothes and set up an easel and started painting. She was an artist. And on that server, she sold paintings for serious amounts of gold. But
yeah, they went on auction.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. But she actually was painting and people started giving her gear and stuff. I mean, she made thousands of gold worth of gear day 1, hour 1 of being on a server, just because it was so crazy. They'd never seen anybody walking around naked before. Well, this character ended up becoming very powerful.
Yeah.
And
the ruler of...
She got, I'm getting to that. But she became very powerful, very strong, caught the eye of a ruler of one of the underworld factions, and he made her like captain of the guard. And then she took over and was the de facto, not even de facto, she was the named leader of the evil faction on the server. It was pretty awesome. She actually assassinated a major guy from the goodly town, the paladin town. She assassinated him. It was a little rough for me because I don't play characters like that. That was hard for me. But most of the people that we played with in there were not bad people. They were all really cool. And, most of what we did was sit around and drink whiskey and stuff like that. Like, that's what we did in character. We didn't do a lot of evil things.
We played a lot in the fighting ring.
Yeah, there was a lot of sneaking around and sparring and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. But she was like literally nuts. She just did whatever came to mind whenever, but it was really awesome having a character that she was so notorious that she would hide who she was and literally people would be like, oh, you're Roach? Because her name, on the screen would show up as Rocha, so they wouldn't put two and two together. And then somebody would say Roach, and you could people would be like, oh, you could feel it.
It was a digital game, but you could sense like the color just draining out of the people. I'm just like, no.
And it was kind of awesome having a character like that. Because what's really funny is at the same time, well, not exactly the same time, but close, I was actually playing a paladin from the goodly town who ended up being captain of the guard there.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to give up one to play the other because it's just a huge conflict of interest to do that. I didn't think of Tristan.
Sure.
Same server.
There's so many.
We have a lot more. But that's just the idea behind this session with us was just to talk about why we liked what we liked and how even very different characters can all be like super interesting to play. And you probably notice, like, I don't mind playing a female character. I don't have any issue with it at all. In fact, most of the time I like doing that. You know why? Because it's not me. It's a totally different thing than I am. And I just find it interesting to play a female character sometimes. And sometimes I get it wrong. Like Roach was not exactly female, but she was. Like, she was totally a woman, but she didn't play feminine. She wasn't soft and cuddly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not entirely accurate. She had a girlfriend for a little while, and she was kind of soft and cuddly. She got screwed over.
But if you listened to what we were saying, we talked more about the personality and the moments that occurred in roleplay due to those personalities more than their actual build.
But speaking of that, I've been trying to give what the builds were. Roach was mostly fighter with a little bit of shadow dancer and weapon master. She was a dual-wielding dagger weapon master. A lot of people thought she was a rogue. She had 0 rogue, which on that server hurt because she didn't have use magic device. She had no UMD skill whatsoever. So I had to. It was hard.
That's where Bunny came in.
Yep, that was her friend, Bunny. Erica played. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but I'm sure we've gone on long enough. If you have a favorite character that you made in playing D&D, whether it was in an online game or in actual D&D or in any TTRPG of any kind or any RPG of any kind, give a little description in the comments below. Tell us what you liked about it. It doesn't even have to be about the build or how powerful they were. It's more about what they did, how they made you feel when you were playing them, and why you enjoyed being someone else and why them. Yeah, that came out awkward as all hell, but it works. And are we done?
We're done.
As always, may the rolls be ever in your favor.
Bye-bye.